Are you a first-time home buyer and you might be wondering what kind of property should you stay away from? Well, guess what? I'm going to cover that in this video. Stay tuned. As a real estate professional who's helped hundreds of clients purchase a home, there are certain properties I always advise my clients to stay away from. The last thing you want to do is have unexpected expenses. It's a nightmare after the closing, so I'm going to help you avoid that. Before we dive in, I want to welcome you to Everything LA Real Estate. This is a channel where I give you real world examples of what to do, what not to do. I give you tips, and I just want to educate you and bring you a lot of value. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get started. The first type of property at times is best to avoid are flipped homes. Now, these are homes that needed cosmetic updates. It was a distressed seller and an investor purchased the property in order to flip it for a profit. Now, certain times, some investors take the cheap route. They don't hire the proper contractors. Some of them are not even licensed. They try to cut their corners by keeping their expenses low so they can increase their profit. So certain flips could be costly for you down the line. If you can spot mistakes with the naked eye, maybe for example the cabinetry is off, gaps in the countertops, or baseboards don't fit right, imagine the corners they've cut on things you cannot see. As an example, electrical work, plumbing, structural integrity, all of that could be compromised. Now here's the reality, okay? Not all investors are bad. There are some really good flippers out there where they do quality work, they have a strong team, they get the project done the right way. So my point is definitely do your due diligence, pull the permits, see if everything was done with permits or not. Another type of property I advise my clients at times to avoid are homes in a busy street, near a freeway, or near railroads. Here's the thing, at the end of the day, you gotta feel comfortable. You don't want a train going by 2 in the morning, or if it's a busy street, it's tough. There's a lot of noise out there. So guess what happens? Those homes are typically lower in value than the average homes in those neighborhoods because of the noise. Now, yes, it's exciting to find a property that's cheaper than the average, but guess what? When the time comes for you to sell it, if, as an example, you have 100 potential buyers, that's going to lower because most buyers don't want to be in a noisy area. So think about that. Now, the next type of property, I'm not saying definitely avoid, but do your due diligence, and that's hillside properties. Is it structurally sound? Because you're on a hill, you want to make sure that the foundation is solid, because if it's not, you might be, going down the hill. Now take note, because this could be a nightmare situation, especially with insurance companies. So you want to make sure the foundation is solid. Another type of property I always tell my clients to avoid is structural issues. If you start noticing cracks around the window, on the ceiling, that tells you that there's a foundation issue, and foundation issues at times could be very expensive. So when you're out there touring properties, pay attention to the cracks. Next, let's talk about the homes with old plumbing and old electrical. Now, I'm not telling you to avoid these types of properties. If you have the budget, then by all means go for it. But if you don't have the budget, if a home has old galvanized pipes that need to be changed to copper plumbing, if the home needs to be rewired throughout the whole house, the panel needs to be changed, this could be costly. Now, that's where you have to decide what is your budget. Besides your down payment, do you have extra funds to take care of these costs in the future? If you do, go for it. If you don't, avoid these types of properties. Let's not forget about roofing issues. If a home's roof is nearing the end of its lifespan, or worse, it's a flat roof, be cautious. Flat roofs have shorter lifespans and are sometimes prone to water issues. Replacing a roof can also be costly. On average, I've noticed roofs cost anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000, depending on the size and type of material you use. So make sure you factor that into your budget if you're considering a home with roofing problems. Another huge cost and a type of property to avoid is if there's constant water intrusion, water issues, and mold issues. To remediate mold, it could be very expensive depending on the type of company you hire, but put the cost aside for a second, the health risk. So you want to make sure if you find a property that has water intrusion, check to see the foundation. If it has water intrusion or mold, that's a type of property that you know you're going to have a lot of cost to fix. Do you want to go through it or not? If not, find another property. Finally, my last tip is always do a home inspection. In a competitive market, at times you might be tempted to waive your inspections, but definitely do your due diligence. check the termite. Get a termite inspector out there. Have a full home inspection done on the roof, the chimney, the foundation, electrical, plumbing. Definitely do a sewer inspection. If there's trees around, do you know if the sewer line is cracked? Is it shifted? Is it damaged? So definitely do a sewer inspection where an inspector will put a camera through and check. So my recommendation is always do your due diligence, because if you don't, those surprises will be very costly for you down the line. At the end of the day, it comes down to what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. As an example, if you're a contractor or have family members and friends who are contractors, you might be more flexible to finding a property that needs some repairs because you have the crew and, more importantly, you have the funds. But if you're a first-time home buyer who's worked really hard throughout the years and you have enough for the down payment, getting into a project like this could be expensive, and these are the types of properties you might want to avoid. Remember, buying a home may be one of the biggest investments you're going to make in your lifetime. So it's very important that you have a knowledgeable guide by your side that can help you avoid many of these pitfalls. So if you found this information valuable, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you at the next video.